Hello everyone, so this is GS Mains Paper 2, August 2017, Part 2. So let's start. So the first article is, or the 8th article actually, we have covered till 7th article, what do you say, in Part 1, right? So the 8th topic is tussle between Legislature and Judiciary on interstate water dispute. See, any question which comes on interstate water dispute, any question, you have to write 2 articles. And those 2 articles are Article 262 and Article 136 Clause 2. Okay. So you have to remember these 2 articles, and what are these 2 articles, we'll talk about it. But remember, any question related to interstate water disputes, or forget about interstate water dispute, any question related to water in polity, you have to write these 2 articles. Just mug it up. Other things everybody else will write, but you people will write these 2 articles. So let's talk about this particular thing. So the thing is, what is Article 262? Now, I'm just giving you one thing. See, when you do 136 into 2, you get 272, right? So just remember, 136 is for judiciary, okay, and 262 is for legislature, right? So 262 is imparting strength, or imparting, what do you say, powers to legislature, whereas 136 is imparting powers to judiciary by special leave petitions. We'll talk about special leave petitions, and it says that Parliament may by law provide for adjudication of interstate water disputes, and that no court shall exercise jurisdiction in such disputes. It explicitly says that no court shall exercise jurisdiction in such dispute. But remember one thing, whenever you will read Lakshmi Kanta, you will read one special power of judiciary of Supreme Court, that is special leave petition. So by this Article 136 Clause 2, the Supreme Court invokes this special leave petition, and after invoking special leave petition, almost practically everything comes under judiciary. So they can take any case, any case. So just remember, that's why there is a case going on, there is a argument going on that judiciary should show restraint, especially Supreme Court should show restraint while invoking special leave petition. Okay, so Article 262 was what? It was providing adjudication to Parliament by which they can set up these, solve these, interstate water disputes, and no court is allowed jurisdiction in these disputes. Now, by that, because of that Article 262, what happened? There was an act which was passed in 1956, which was called Interstate Water Dispute Act. Okay, under this, a separate tribunal to be established for each dispute. Now that is the whole case. Now they are saying, instead of establishing separate tribunal for each dispute, which is happening right now, make a single tribunal and then make sub tribunals, right? And then provide a time limit for all those tribunals. It should not be like they are taking 20 years and 30 years to take a decision. That should not be the case. Take a proper time frame, make a limit, make a maximum limit of 5 years. Within that period, take a decision, and it should be binding. Make it binding, right? Okay. Now let's talk about what is the issue with these tribunals. First of all, only 3 out of 8 tribunal awards have been accepted by states. They are not accepting it. You are passing a verdict, but they are not accepting it. What will you do, right? The whole politicization will happen, right? So first issue is tribunal awards are not accepted by state. Only 3 of the 8 tribunal awards are accepted by state. Second is delay on account of lack of technical expertise. Whatever people are there in tribunal, they are generalists. They are not specialists. Generalist versus specialist is coming right now in every domain. Similarly, that is the case in this tribunal thing also. There is lack of technical expertise. So nobody is knowing whether in lower riparian states or upper riparian states, which state is gaining what. So there is an issue. That's why all those issues were going on in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, right? Okay, so second issue is lack of technical expertise. Third issue is absence of fixed time limit for adjudication or notifying the water tribunal. They are like, you see, there is a, what do you say? Generally, people assume that it's a government work. It will happen at its own pace. So same thing happens in tribunal. They're doing their work at their own pace. And what is happening? People are drying up broth. Right, so that should not be the case. There should be a time limit, right? There should be a time limit for these adjudications. So that is the third issue. What is the fourth issue? Supreme Court invokes Article 136 Clause 2, granting special leave to appeal from the tribunal's judgment. So time and again, Supreme Court invokes this, right? Supreme Court has an ego clash. We should not be saying it because I can be sued for contempt of court. But the thing is, yeah, Supreme Court invoke Article 136 Clause 2, granting special leave to appeal from tribunal's judgment. So that also sometimes become an issue for our Honorable Supreme Court. Okay, now fifth is, it is a hugely politicized issue. Okay, so again I will reiterate 5 issues which is there with interstate water dispute or any case or any question which comes, related to water in quality in paper 2, you can write these 5 issues. First is only 3 of 8 tribunal awards are accepted by state. Second is there's lack of technical expertise. Third is there's no time limit for adjudication. Fourth is Supreme Court invokes Article 136 Clause 2. Fifth is it is a hugely politicized matter. Now what is the way forward? The way forward is center should frame robust and transparent institutional framework, keeping in mind federal nature of our political system. They should understand the sensitivities of each state, right? And based on that only, they should make a transparent institutional framework, right? Again, this is all jibber jabber, but you have to write these jibber jabber to get marks in exam, right? Federal character, preservation of federal character, preservation of sensitivities. These are the words which you need to write in your copy. Second thing which we can do is judiciary should show restraint while taking special leave petitions so that it adheres to principle of separation of powers, right? So the first thing is there should be a transparent institutional framework as well as a robust institutional framework which is respecting the federal nature of our political system. And the second thing is restraint should be shown by judiciary while taking a special leave petitions. So they should take special leave petitions only in extreme case scenarios. So that is all about interstate water dispute. Again, remember Article 262 and Article 136 Clause 2. 262 is strengthening Parliament or giving adjudication power to Parliament. Article 136(2) is related to special leave petition. Okay, generally people believe that if judiciary is taking these matters, so they are taking by right of constitutional remedies Article 32. No, they take it by Article 136 Clause 2, which is by invoking special leave petitions. Okay, so if you know these intricacies, you will score good marks in paper 2. Okay, let's move on. We have spent too much time on this particular topic, so let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic is Sino-India Relations. It remains always in news, but again there are certain good things which have been written by Hindu and other newspapers. So let's talk about those important keywords. So first keyword is India need to emulate top-down waterfall approach espoused by Russia and China to lower tension. What is top-down waterfall approach? Actually, this is a software engineering thing. So I was a computer science student. So if anybody has studied software engineering, they will understand what is top-down waterfall approach. Even if they have not studied top-down waterfall approach, it is very clear that they are going from top and slowly they are coming down. Right? Generally, what they say in Indian Parliament system or any kind of a governance, we should have a bottom-up approach instead of a top-down approach. Here they are saying we need to emulate top-down waterfall approach which was taken by or which was espoused by Russia and China to lower tension. So Russia and China has lowered their tension by taking this top-down waterfall approach. So India and China should also do the same. They should also take this top-down waterfall approach. Okay. Now see, the thing is now let's try to understand what are the strengths of India as compared to China. China have deep pockets, right? But relations between India and her neighbors are multi-dimensional. Okay, even though you don't believe it, you have to write it. So understand, China has too much. China has, I think, if I'm not wrong, China's GDP is 10 times bigger than India. But India's relationship with their neighbors are multi-dimensional. You have to write, even though you don't agree on it, even though you feel that India acts as a big brother to Nepal, to Bhutan, but always write that India has a multi-dimensional relationship with her neighbors. Okay, again, Pakistan is a strategic partner of China, but not much people-to-people contact. The people-to-people contact we have with Pakistan is much greater than what China is having with Pakistan. Remember, we have much more in similar with Pakistan as compared to what China has in similar with Pakistan, right? The only thing is the tussle is happening between government. Okay, there are lots and lots of misunderstandings. And Kashmir is a permanent problem, right? Okay, now the thing is what need to be done? What are the things which need to be done to avoid this Sino-India friction? First of all, we need to curb Sino-centricism and Indo-centricism. Okay, Sino-centricism means we are just concentrating everything around China, right? Indo-centricism means whatever, like in South Asia, India is the best country, or India is a country around which all other countries should revolve. So that should not be the thing. We should set our big brother approach, right? So that is shedding in Indo-centricism, right? So, and what is happening? Because of this Sino-centricism and Indo-centricism, it is giving rise to narrow nationalism and regional hegemonism, right? Because hegemony is there, right? So India is exerting pressure on Nepal. Similarly, China is exerting pressure on Nepal. So we are trying to establish a hegemony. So these kind of things are happening. Narrow nationalism and regional hegemonism has been happening because of this Sinocentrism and Indiocentrism, and it has to be said at the earliest, right? Okay. So this was about Sino-Indian relations. Let's move to the next thing, that is office of profit. Again, very important. Now remember, in polity, if you want to get good marks, remember some articles that will help. And it's not like it's very tough to remember articles. Once you read 2-3 articles like office of profit, we know it is in news and it will be in news for next 2-3 years, right? So, and why it was in news? Because of the parliament secretary case, right? But the thing is, you have to understand the whole thing. What is office of profit? Like if somebody asks you, office of profit is applied on legislature, executive, or judiciary. So most of you people will discard judiciary. But now when you're left with legislature and executive, who among, like, office of profit is applied on whom, right? So generally there's a confusion. People get confused. See, office of profit has nothing to do with executive. It is related to legislature. Okay, it is imposing a constraint on member of Indian Parliament and state legislature that they cannot hold the office of profit because it would lead to conflict of interest, right? And there are 2 articles which are dealing with it. Article 102 clause A and Article 191 clause A. So again, remember these 2 articles. Okay, now let's talk about these 2 articles and what they say. So Article 102A and 191A bars a member of Indian Parliament and state legislature respectively from holding an office that would give its occupant the opportunity to gain a financial benefit. Okay, now there are certain issues with office of profit. What are the issues? See, neither Constitution nor RPA 1951 explicitly define the term. Okay, this is fine that article, these things are saying this, but what is office of profit? What constitutes an office of profit? If I'm going to a parliament and I start digging a hole, so will that case be, what do you say, amounting to an office of profit? Because I'm doing something which will give me some financial benefit. Okay, whatever. So see, the thing is, definition is not at all clear. They have not explicitly defined. So what is happening afterwards? So this legislature is keep on, what do you say? Legislature kept on expanding the list of exemptions from disqualification. So what they're doing is they're taking an office and they're saying that this does not lie inside office of profit. So they're giving exemptions to more and more office. So that is what has happened because of no explicit definition of this office of profit. And neither Constitution nor RPA 1951 has defined what is office of profit. It's fine. Article 102 clause 1 clause A and 191 clause A is saying something, but even then the definition is not at all clear. Okay, and see, what are the issues? So first issue is not clear definition. Second issue is exemption is continuously increased. Third issue is offices are used to appease and leverage legislator. It has become a tool for appeasement of legislators, right? Like in the case of the parliamentary secretaries in Delhi. Okay, now what is the way forward? So the way forward is there is a need for explicit rule. There is a need for explicit rule that you have to define the term, right? You have to define a rule that this is office of profit. Okay, and the second way forward is in England, whenever a new office is created, law lays down whether it would be an office of profit or not. Right? Whenever in England they create a new office, they say, yeah, this is an office of profit or it is not an office of profit. Similarly, in India, it should be followed, right? So that would, make issue much more clearer, right? So that should be the way forward. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic is India's education system, right? Okay, now this is a very easy topic, right? But the thing is, there are certain things which you need to understand. Okay, now I will tell you what is the main issue with India's education system. So suppose you have passed 10th, right? Now after that, what people generally do, if somebody tells you what do you want to do, you want to do ITI or you want to do BA. So people are after 12th, right? So you want 10th, right? Even after 10th, right? So if somebody gives you an option that you want to take arts in 11th, 12th and then do BA, or you want to do ITI, people go for BA, right? They want to do that, but they will not take skill training. So this lack of skill training is the main issue in India's education system, right? And that has what propelled Germany into, even after Second World War, it has become so huge economy, right? So developed economy, because skill training is imparted on a very large scale in Germany. And India, that thing is missing a lot. Even our parents or their parents, they have not imparted that thing, that skill training is good. If you're a welder, it's better to be a welder, it's better to be an electrician than being an unemployed person, right? So skill training is needed. Any kind of skill training is good. Okay, so let's talk about it. So building a schooling system that caters to every child without turning it into a testing factory is a challenge, right? Not test after 10, test after 11. So you don't need to make your school a testing factory, right? Stop that thing and try to impart real knowledge. That is the main challenge. Mismatch between demand for a skilled adult labor force and what the system prepares the country's youth for. So there's a mismatch. Whatever system is preparing, whatever educated youth the system is preparing, those educated youth are not skilled enough for companies. So companies always cry that we cannot take these youth because they are not skilled enough. So that there is a mismatch between skill and between proper education. So what is the need? The need is for opening avenues for skill training after the elementary level for those who would prefer that over academic studies. Okay, skill training is equally important. Such a model has served industrial nations such as Germany for decades, raising the standard of living for all while ensuring economic productivity. So we can learn from Germany in this aspect. Okay. So let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic is Lok Adalat. Okay, Lok Adalat. Okay, now what is Lok Adalat? Lok Adalat is an alternative dispute redressal mechanism. And what kind of a body it is? It is a statutory body which has been established under Legal Services Authorities Act 1987. Now, what are the limitations of Lok Adalat? See, first limitation is they don't meet regularly. Second limitation is lack of confidentiality. Proceedings held in open court. Okay, khule mein. Everything happens in in open court, right? Third limitation, lack of proper awareness among masses about its legal jurisdiction. See, this thing you can write in any judiciary issue. Awareness, lack of proper awareness among masses. Since in India a sizable portion is illiterate, so this proper awareness, lack of proper awareness is a common issue. You can write it anywhere and everywhere. And the fourth issue is you need consent of both parties in Lok Adalat. Whenever you want to give a judgment in Lok Adalat, you need consent of both parties. So again, let's reiterate all those limitations. They don't meet regularly. There is a lack of confidentiality. There is lack of proper awareness among masses about what Lok Adalat do, and there is a need for consent of both parties. Okay, now what are the measures to improve functioning, right? Whenever we are reading a topic, we have to understand the way forward. So what are the measures to improve functioning? First thing is there should be a permanent and continuous Lok Adalat in all districts, which is not the case right now. So there should be a permanent and continuous Lok Adalat. It should not meet sporadically, right? It should meet continuously. Second thing is sensitization of judicial officers in regard of legal services scheme. These judicial officers, they are not, sensitized enough. They are not educated enough. They don't know all the legal prohibitions in a better way. So there is a need for sensitization of judicial officers in regard of legal services scheme. And the third thing is legal literacy and legal aid programs. Again, you can write it anywhere and everywhere in cases related to judiciary, legal literacy and legal aid programs. Okay, now let's move on to the topic for today, which is Cross-LOC Trade. Again, Cross-LOC Trade is a very important factor in Indo-Pak relationship. We'll see how. So Cross-LOC Trade continues to be a key confidence building, CBM, confidence building measure between India and Pakistan, irrespective of negative perception around it. Whatever is happening, lots of things are happening now. Even then, Cross-LOC Trade is continuously going on. In October, that is October of that is in 2017, in October, Cross-LOC Trade will complete 9 years. Also, this Cross-LOC Trade has managed to connect two divided sides of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, they were creating a constituency of peace in an otherwise tense region, right? So there is a thing. It is acting like people-to-people contact. It is playing a greater role in people-to-people contact. Plus, it is improving the economy of two sides of Jammu and Kashmir. So government must ensure that trade continues to flourish. Okay, so even whatever lots and lots of bad things, we can write lots and lots of bad things about Indo-Pak relations, but if there is a silver lining, this is it. So you can talk about Cross-LOC Trade, which is continuously going on even after so many hiccups which is taking place there, right? Okay. So I will keep it here only. Okay, and in the next class we'll continue, and again there are certain topics which are left, so I will try to complete it in the next 2 to 3 videos, the August thing. Okay, thank you.